Greetings to Merry Meet guys. I'm Simeon, and the purpose of this video is to apply itself as a mission statement, so to speak. The purpose of my YouTube channel here. Now, I've been called many things in the pagan world. Largely, a lot of them are valid and true. I have been called a mentor, a sponsor. I have also been called a gray or a hedge witch, or even a dark or a black witch. I don't do negative rituals or spell casting very often, but I do them. I'm not bound by the Wiccan Rede or any of the laws of the craft, so to speak, concerning Wicca. I was originally ordained as a Wiccan minister way back in the day, but I've evolved past that, and while it has been valid and definitely given me the tools to work with, I consider myself a bit beyond that because it's too limiting. Coven type of practice for me, it's like me living inside of a controlled environment or a coffin, a Wiccan coffin, so to speak, and I desire freedom. So I stepped beyond the teachings, and while the teachings are still valid, and I do honor them and work backdoor ways to use them, I don't work Wicca too much. But understandably, when you as a seeker are scrounging for information, you're looking everywhere. All of the information that's available online, as well as the books that you have access to, they give you for the majority, they give you a coven perspective. And while there are a few solitaries out there, one that comes to mind very strongly is Scott Cunningham. He has gone about the sharing and teaching and mentoring of Wicca as a solitary only, and I applaud that. But he is still bound by the Wiccan Rede and by all the laws that were ordained of old, which are, I think there's about 64 or 67 of the laws that were ordained of old. And maybe in one of my future videos I will go through them all and give my 2 cents worth in regards to whether they still apply or whether they can be modified, which I think all of them can be modified. And the point I'm trying to make is that my channel here is for young witches and students and seekers who are leaning more towards a solitary, freedom-based perspective. Now, it's perfectly all right to be a solitary witch. And if you are still, forgive the expression, but if you're still in the closet, that's fine too. Practicing when you can, where you can, is perfectly acceptable. Hiding your tools in plain sight is also perfectly acceptable. And there are millions of different ways that you can do that. And I will go into videos in regards to creating craft items that you can hide in plain sight, where anyone else thinks of them for a different purpose. You know, in fact, for yourself, they are for your practicing, for your spiritual practicing. Anyway, the purpose of this channel is to be a instructional, maybe a mentoring for those who have a flavor more of the freedom that is associated to solitary practice. Now, I still honor the Wheel of the Year and all of the Sabbats, and I create my own esbats, which I classify as working rituals or working nights in the calendar. The working nights in the calendar don't follow any specific cycle of the moon, whereas the Sabbats, I like to honor the full moon with them. The aspects I sort of reserve for new moon rituals and spell work and creating and designing for spells and rituals, curses, blessings, bindings, banishments. Those are sort of taboo for quote unquote Wicca. Wicca is supposed to be full of love and light, glitter and sparkles, and a feel-good type of witchcraft practice. And for the most part, it can be. But a lot of the traditions have taken it upon themselves to rewrite their core beliefs to make them more pleasurable to the common person on the street, or what, forgive the term, but what you find in the Harry Potter series as muggles. Now, Harry Potter witchcraft and charmed witchcraft and movies like what's a movie that I'm trying to think of here? Practical Magic, and the one where Fairuza Balk is turned into a psychotic witch. I'm trying to remember the name of that. Oh, The Craft. Thank you. Now, the way that the media depicts witchcraft is horrible and very inaccurate. It's fantasy, make-believe, but it has just enough reality in it to hook you, the viewer, and allow you to perceive some of the stuff that you see in the movies as actually functionable witchcraft. Now, a lot of it is hocus pocus and Lucas lights and sound and magic and whatever. It's pretend, but it's done in such a way that it is linked subconsciously to you as workable witchcraft, totally acceptable workable witchcraft. It is not. It's pretend, it's make-believe, it's fantasy and entertainment, really. I still watch them for their entertainment value. I don't see a whole lot of potential reality in programs like that. For me, they're purely entertainment. The whole thing behind Harry Potter. It started off as an idea in the author's mind, and it was presented to Hollywood in such a way where it was like an offer Hollywood could not refuse, because it hit on all of the points that in their minds makes a fantastic movie. Something I learned in my journalism days, way back in the day. I learned a basic lesson that journalists apply, even to this day, and it's articulate the popular rage or passion. If you want to be popular, if you want your column to be read, or your videos to be watched, or your movies to be adored and money spent over, articulate the popular rage that happens to be in the public at the time, or the popular passion that the passion is so passionate, that the public is so passionate about that they can't take their eyes off the screen, or they can't stop reading a book. Journalists use those techniques flawlessly and have probably improved on them over the years. There is a certain degree of subliminal manipulation in regards to the popularity of certain movies. Hold on for a second. take a drink of my tea before it let's just say before it goes too cold or too stale. Yeah, I drink my milk out of or I drink my tea out of a milk jug. Go figure. I like tea. I really, really, really like tea. So give me a second and forgive me. All right, forgive that. I had to finish that off. All right. I keep on looking on the screen, which is just up here. So forgive me if you happen to see me looking up occasionally. That's all right. Anyway, who I'm talking to is you guys, and that's my focus. You people are the ones I want to impress. I want to make friends, and I also want to create a community that's sort of wrapped around this channel of mine. So please, if you happen to be, how do I say it? If you happen to find the content that I have here on the channel pleasing and has potential, please like, share, comment, subscribe, please. I want the channel to grow with you folks intact. I want to be able to interact with you all. In this particular video, I'm going to be listing all of my social media links down below. Okay, so check out the box description, please. You will see me use titles and pictures that are, for the most part, and music, for the most part, public domain. I have an ear for music. I like catchy music, empowering music, and I search the internet in an insane way, looking for what is classified as public domain music and media, or a Creative Commons fair use media, which means if I use a piece of media that is created by someone else who has given permission for it to be used, all they require and request is that you put a link to the source of their music or media in the description and mention it on camera if you can. That's all they require. They don't need to be paid. They just want a shout out for their contribution, and I'm more than willing to do that. And if you all have or know of sources of music that are Creative Commons based, please leave the links in your descriptions and or in your comments below, and I will check them out. If you all have questions that you want to ask me, please do not hold back. Ask away. If I don't know the answer to a question, I will simply say I don't have enough information on that, but I will research it. I don't ignore people who post positive and constructive comments in the comment area below. Of course, just like any video host or vlogger host, I appreciate feel-good comments, and I welcome them. But also, like a video logger, I need encouragement every once in a while. So please, if you happen to see potential in the content you see on my channel, please make suggestions. Ask me to cover certain areas that pique your interest and would be of great learning for you, and I'll cover them. I have no problems covering darker subjects either. There's only two areas that I will not go into, and it's my own personal preference. One is voodoo, more specifically New Orleans voodoo, like Santeria, and the other one is Satanism. I won't touch those with a 1,000-foot pole. They don't turn me on. They don't roll my boat. I leave them alone. There is another topic, and it's a written book, and I'll only mention it here once because I honestly believe that this particular book brings in really bad energies and vibrations into your life. So I'm only going to mention it once here, and the book is called The Necronomicon. When I was 12 years old and first exploring witchcraft, I happened to stumble on a link for a source to go and order the book. And I ordered it. And supposedly it is written by a mad Arab who threw caution into the wind and went through the processes from start to finish. And because he did so in an ignorant way, he left an awful lot of doors open when he was going to his destination, so to speak, and then coming back, purely on a spiritual level. Now, those open doors backfired on him, and he became terrorized with the monsters that he created on each step going to his target, and then he had to fight them coming back. Purely of his own creation, but that's the point I'm trying to make about this particular book. It is not something that mortals are capable enough of managing or manipulating. It's beyond mortal comprehension. If you are even in the slightest way, and please don't take this personally, but if any of you are in the slightest way a little weaker on your emotional stability or your mental stability, and please don't be offended. I know all of us have emotional and mental issues, and sometimes intellectual issues. We all have them. You know, I myself have a crap load. But this type of book can be very damaging to a person's psyche and cause some pretty severe and sometimes irreversible psychotic breaks. Anyway, I want to get off this book because it's not really worth any more discussion than what we've just gone through. Anyway, my name is Symbian, and I want to thank you all for looking at this mission statement of mine and even considering subscribing to the channel. If you don't, that's fine. I appreciate the fact that you've watched it this far. But if you do subscribe, thank you very much. And I look forward to interacting with you all, either in the comments or through the social media links that I'm putting down below. So, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be.